Alright, everyone, welcome back to another Watch and Talk here in Automotive Anatomy. So today, I want to discuss something that has been going on my, I guess, in the back of my head for a very long time. And I don't know why, but well, I think I do know why. I don't know, just I guess how limited or time in this earth is. I've come across a few posts lately, like in the past month, 2 months, of young people who are no longer with us. And I don't know why it always just gets me like thinking that they were too young, They were too young to not be with us anymore. And I know it's a weird topic. I know somebody's gonna be like, what is this guy talking about? But it just makes me like really appreciate every single day because, time is limited. I wish we all had um unlimited time, or I wish it was by age, right? Like, you know, we would we would all go by age, but we don't. And I think one of the things that I've been thinking about the most, um, one of them was who's gonna be, depends on however you believe, if you want to get cremated or buried or whatever, like who's gonna be the last person to leave your like your service, or who's gonna go and sit by your grave the most after you're gone. It's weird to think about just or limited time here, but I think to me it's important because it makes me appreciate every day. um Again, there's so many people that just, including myself, that we think, okay, when is Friday gonna be? Okay, cool, the weekend. Oh, Monday. Ugh, I'm so tired. And the reality is that if we really truly believe and know that we have very limited time here, shoot, we would be excited for every single day. Now, granted, again, I'm the same way. It's not like I'm perfect and I don't think the same way, but the reality is that I try to really appreciate the day for what it is. Yeah, we all love to get paid, right? The end of the month or the end of the week, but um, I try not to kind of just say, "Oh man, I can't wait for Fridays." Like, no, like every day is important. Um, Especially having my son. He's gonna be a year soon, and I'm like, damn, like I guess I didn't really have um concept of time before my son, and now that I have him, and now that I get to see him grow up, I'm like, time flies because now this kid's huge, and it also makes me wonder, okay, how am I utilizing my time? How am I utilizing my financials? How am I utilizing my peace? Am I being the best dad I can be? You know, am I scrolling on my phone while he's trying to get my attention? Yeah, maybe at his age he won't know, but I know that if I neglect, I think that's the appropriate word. If I start neglecting him now in those ways, I'll be neglecting him in other ways, when he gets older. Now, for me, I'm enjoying every day. My baby, he's gonna be a year old next month, and it's actually it's already this month. See, I'm telling you guys, time flies. Um, I'm excited to see, hopefully, if he wants to play sports, if he wants to, whatever he wants to do, I'll be definitely supportive. I think about many different quotes every day. One of them, comes in social media quite a bit, and they say, you know, we're parents are just here to be memories for children when we're no longer here. And I think about that a lot because I'm like, I'm blessed to have my mom. She's obviously getting older. She's the one who's been helping me and my wife take care of my son, and she's the absolutely perfect person to take care of my kid. Like, I think she learned from, I'm gonna call them mistakes, right? The way, she raised us. And not that she raised us wrong. She did an amazing job. But now as a parent, I'm like, dude, I don't know how you did it. Like, limited financials, different country. I'm sure she was going through her own personal challenges, her work. I mean, I have a much, much better work than she does, better pay. I give my mom so much props now. I don't know how she did it. And as some of you guys know, I haven't done them in a while, but I have a couple hour long podcasts with my mom. And obviously those are just for myself and her. And you know, it. I believe that it's important to get her story, and eventually what I'm thinking of doing is maybe giving them to my brothers and say, here, if you ever want to know some stuff about mom, um, because I have some questions for her. I have some upcoming questions that I want to ask her in a podcast. Um, that I think the biggest issue or the biggest reason why I'm doing this watch and talk, and I know that it's a sensitive topic, but I think the biggest reason is we always, at least I see that on social media. I don't know, but we never tell the people that we love them that we love them. We we're almost like left with guilt. I see people on social media like, damn, I can't believe that was the last time we're gonna be. If I knew that was the last time, I would have blank. It's almost like a sense of guilt. Like, damn, I took you for granted. You know, um, and that's something that I'm learning. That's something that I need to have more patience with my mom. I need to have patience with my wife, more patience with my son. Um, we're all going through this the very first time, and it's difficult. It's difficult times. It's difficult to balance work and your personal. Um, at the time of this wash, this is the same day that I went to interview, not interview, record the Cars and Coffee for the Porsches. So time and guilt is something that I do have, in the back of my head. Um, I left the house I think at 7 that morning, which is late. I usually like to leave the house by 6. I left the house by 7. I was out there at the, event for about an hour. Came back here. It's probably around 8:30 by now. And then as I was washing the car, my wife's like, "Hey, you wanna go on a walk?" And I was like, "Hell yeah!" So that's why I kind of hurry up to wash the car a little bit more, because as some of you guys know, I love walks. Something about them, they're very therapeutic, especially if you like where you live. And that's something new. That was a conversation that I had with my mom not too long ago about like me having to learn about walks. And she was like, "Well, I was always tired. Where were we gonna go walk?" It's like I work 12 to 15 hour shifts, and coming home, I was tired, and I was like, "No, I get it. I'm just saying, like, I think my son's life is being better in some areas, but at the same time, I don't want to neglect them. Um, like I said, as he gets older, I definitely want to make sure that he's involved in something. I think my overall goal is to be the dad that I wish I had, right? Not to buy him Nike and all these fancy clothes and no. I want him to know and experience things. I want him to understand, you know, at least that's my thought. He can completely be a different person. I don't know. But I don't want to buy him things I didn't have. I want him to have experiences I didn't have. I want him to know things that I didn't have. Little things like building your self-esteem, you know, not comparing yourself to others. Uh, just things like that. I think are gonna be more important for my kid. Um, as you guys know, this is like a diary for me. The videos. Will my son ever look at them? I don't know, but if he does, then at least hopefully understands that he's the most important part of my life now. And not to say that anybody or everybody has to have kids. No, I respect everyone's opinions. Trust me. Um, but I thought I knew what love was until I met my son. Um, I think being a father is learning how to continue to live with your heart outside your body, which is your son, your daughter, you know. And to anybody out there who, for whatever reason, wasn't able to or couldn't have kiddos, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I um, don't mean to make you feel bad. You know, there was a time that I thought maybe I'm not gonna have, you know, a kiddo, and I was okay with it. You know, not because not because I was like, oh, I don't want to have kids. No, it was just almost like understanding, just saying, okay, if that's it. It wasn't for me. It wasn't for me. And thank the universe, thank God, thank whoever. Um, you know, we were able to have one. And do we want another one? Of course, but at the same time, again, being the planner that I am and being the super overthinker, which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but understanding that kids need more than just food and shelter, right? They also need attention. They need support emotionally and personally. Um, you know, we'll consider. We definitely want to have another kiddo because we want our son to have someone to play with. But at the same time, what are we willing to sacrifice? Does that mean that I need to get a second job? As you guys know, financially, you know, in Orange County in Southern California, we're, you know, as my buddy Jason with a beautiful EG, he mentioned something that stuck by me. He was like, "Hey, Gus, you know, um, here people in California, we're playing the game on hard mode. You know, it's difficult to survive. That's why people are moving to other places." And I'm like, yeah, I get it. And even those places, you know, the Midwest and places like that, it's getting more expensive, and it sucks. It really does. Um, and as much as we don't, at least me, at least as much as I don't want to get into the political side of things, um, it's difficult to ignore it because it is affecting everyone's lives. You know, it is, and some more than others. Um, and you just kind of have to adjust, whatever that means. So for us, adjusting means thinking ahead and saying, well, I mean, to have a kid is the easy part, right? Like, you just have them. But to nature, nurture, you know, to make sure that we're gonna be there. Um, this just this morning, I saw this video of like, oh, a little girl reacting to her dad coming home, after 3 months, you know, away from work. I don't know what he does for a living. You know, but 3 months, and the little girl just like hugs them, and I think the mom who was making the video was like, oh yeah, at this moment dad decided to change careers. And again, no shade towards anybody who works on, you know, we all need those jobs. Sadly, someone needs to do those jobs, where people are away for long periods of time. But I've always told my wife, like, hey, like, I I'm not a rich person, and the line of work that I do, I'm probably not gonna be rich. You know, we knew that from the beginning. We do this more for fulfillment. We do this more for an impact, and that sounds great on paper, right? Or personally, but we're not making business type of money. But I'm also not doing business type of work, and I look at some of my buddies who run businesses, are very successful. They're also busy, you know, and to me, I guess I'm not made for that. You know, I'm not made of that cloth. So hence why I drive 90s, you know, Accord. I don't drive my Porsche GT3 RS because I'm not willing to put that effort in. And so anybody who's out there running a business and running a family and everything, like, kudos to you, man. You know, definitely kudos to you because it's not easy. And sometimes you may even feel unappreciated, right? You're trying to provide for the family, and the family's looking at you like, hey, like, when are you gonna be home? But I think only the person knows, and this goes for male and female, right? They know the struggles that they're going through. They're trying to maintain. I mean, who wouldn't want to stay home and get paid for and be with the family? But you still have to go out and work. But I think the biggest conversation that I'm having with myself here is understand that, but despite all of those things, we still have to make time for the people that we love, um, and let them know, hey, I appreciate you. And this is me also telling myself, because I think I've neglected a few friendships, I've neglected a few people, um, but I'm also not only neglecting that, but I'm also emphasizing more my time with my own immediate family. Once you stop texting and you stop calling, you start realizing that it was a one-way communication channel. And sadly, I've come across that with a few people recently, where I'm like, I'm not gonna call you, I'm not gonna text you, and yeah, sure enough, the conversations have stopped, and that's okay. I realize now that it was me who was pushing for a relationship that maybe it wasn't as close as I thought. But again, we're all in different stages in life, and therefore I guess I understand where people are coming from. Um, so I think the biggest takeaway from this conversation is, hey, your time is limited, and you know if you're not a very emotional or sentimental person like I am, like I can't just share feelings. Like even talking about this conversation is very, very difficult for me. Um, then just show them by actions. That's the least I can do. Like for me, that's what I do. You know, um, my wife always likes to dress up for Halloween. At some point, I thought it was stupid. You gotta understand, when you grow up with things that are different than you and you didn't have the things you wanted, you tend to call them stupid, right? Like, oh, I didn't have money to dress up, so Halloween's stupid. And I have money for presents, so Christmas was stupid. But now she's the one that puts us into all that spirit. So guess what? It's no longer stupid. Now we gotta do it because mom/wife wants it. So we all follow through. And that's the way I show that I care, through actions. I don't know if this conversation made sense to you. If it did, great. If it didn't, sorry. Feel free to leave some comments. I'll try to articulate myself a little bit better, but just thank you. Appreciate your time.